Britta, what's so interesting is that that same system that you just detailed is going to pivot right over the Rocky Mountains and eventually into the Central Plains, and that is going to spark what could be a start to April with a severe weather outbreak. As you know, April typically sees an increase in the severe weather outbreaks as we have the clash of not only the warm, moist air off the Gulf of Mexico, but that cold Canadian air. In fact, April is usually the second busiest month for tornadoes, only being outdone by the month of May. Interestingly enough, you look at some of these risk areas that the Storm Prediction Center has highlighted, and for the first time since April 1st of 2023, so last year, there's an equivalent of a 3 out of 5 severe weather threat in the day 4 outlook. And the problem there is that type of certainty, that type of confidence in the forecast can spell some really incredible storms. A year ago, with that same sort of setup, we saw 20 reported tornadoes that eventually developed. So this could be from places like Oklahoma City through Tulsa, all the way up through St. Louis, Missouri. This could be a severe weather outbreak, certainly worth mentioning. Britta, it is really all forms of severe weather, from destructive damaging winds to large hail to perhaps even several tornadoes could be seen out of this event to start off the next work week.
Yeah, the Storm Prediction Center, they haven't done this aggressive of a day 4 outlook in a year. So what does that mean for you at home? Well, that means that there's a lot of confidence to the forecast. Also, we're talking about all modes of severe weather that are possible. So you need to stay engaged this weekend and see how things progress. The heat is a component here. I mean, we had severe weather last week, but it wasn't nearly as warm. The moisture was there, but we had components that were missing. Next week, all the components are there, which is the concern. We're going to have a lot of, support here with this storm moving in from California. So that's the upper level impact there. You combine that with all the heat and moisture moving in from the Gulf, the cold air from the north. I mean, right now we're tracking snow across North Dakota, and we have snow chances in for Easter Sunday across the northern tier. So, it's all these things put together that are increasing the chance here.
Yeah, I'm concerned for our friends, especially in parts of the Central Plains, and then eventually into Tuesday, all of this energy moves from the Central Plains closer in through the Midwest, and you can see what happens from Kentucky, the Bluegrass State, down toward the Volunteer
DC's
State.
Even included in
DC,
Tuesday's outlook.
Nation's capital.
It's too early to talk about the Northeast. Again, all this will eventually go out towards the Atlantic, so it could clip South Jersey. But then we're talking about getting into, the next day, which the SPC won't release that until tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be an active start to the week for sure.
And also just an active start because you got to be paying attention.
Right.